Hello everyone and welcome. Today we'll be taking a look at a couple of highlight viewer submitted matches of StarCraft 2. Joining me here, the first match of the day will be on the map Ultra Love, a blue Zerg player in the upper right corner. It is Nash the Gash. A gash given Zerg form, apparently. Their opponent here, the red hatchery, the red drones, the bottom left of Vavka. I'm guessing they were trying to spell vodka, but have had so many that they just could not get it right, and we have to forgive them because of how far in they've gone. That would be my guess, my hunch. Rather different setups here for our ZVZ to start things off. Explosive, I hope, no doubt. Overlord action cam. They pass each other. Stoic in their gazes. Never turning, never faltering. Not getting distracted by one another in the slightest. No, both of them up to their own version of trickery. Shenanigans. We've got a pool first out of red here, which could just be a safety pool, to be fair. Doesn't always necessarily mean that they're going to get aggressive. It could mean that they're frightened of Zerg. Of course, Zerg are scary. Even if you are another Zerg, it can be. On this side, blue's corner of the map, we saw a little bit of an extractor trick, get that hatch down slightly quicker, and then a very quick speed follow-up. Going for just the perfect amount of gas, getting just over 100 gas to start that ling speed. So despite having the pool first here, red's going to be a bit farther behind on the Zergling speed. Will it come into play is always the big question. Ling speed is quite an advantage for Zerglings, of course. Having speed Zerglings versus not speed Zerglings, it's a grueling bloody battle, and usually the speedlings come out on top because they're able to get us around so much quicker. They get that surface area. That's usually what that boils down to. Losing the Overlord is not ideal. Even she gets distracted making a tumor, still doesn't matter. Throwing away the Overlord, not ideal. You're supposed to just check for the hatch, you see if it's a wiggling, and then you just back out. Just take stance probably right over here so you can see all three of the access points, but we're a bit farther past that point now. The speedlings of blue show themselves, get into the base. 3 queens should be plenty to shut that down if the Zerglings actually let them catch them. Going after the drones thus far unfazed, standing resolute, finally waking up from their mineral-flavored stupor. Will respond to the defense at what cost, though? Oh my god, 8 drones. 8 drones picked off with barely even anything. Speedling attack, 26 to 20 drones now. That's rather worthwhile. The Lings of Red try to get a little bit of revenge damage. The chase ensues. Lings, of course, having the exact same speed as other Lings does create some complications in terms of a potential chase. We can see red will only get caught if red wants to be caught, or for some reason forgets that they have Zerglings here. 2 of them for blue, trying to head them off. This one's getting very low. Somehow manages to get up in front, gets to the wall, and then gets picked off. Okay. The queen's panicking, it would seem, at the front door. The Evo Chamber, Baneling Nest wall off with Spine Crawler support coming in handy. Just jab a couple queens right up in there. Even the spine, if you want. You could put the spine in there, but the queens are better. Blue's got a fair amount of Zerglings here. Red, I feel like, really probably should be keeping something in the wall. If you're gonna, your opponent has a lot of Zerglings, okay? At least be a little paranoid here. Blue responding with their, the paranoia, of course, gives Blue a bit of map control. They're going to decide to go for double hatch at the same time. A greedy, risky ZVZ type of move, but it could pay off. The economic advantage has been in Blue's favor for a fair amount of time. Red so far uncaring about really replacing the drones that they lost. Not wanting to go for the gases just quite yet. Blue enjoying that gas income. We'll see what they really want to do with it. With the layers finishing up, we'll start to get to see really what both of them want to do. They both are going for a Bane nest, so could see Ling Bane. Could also see one of them go for a bit more standard Roach play at this time. Red comes out on top, thanks to having, of course, way more Zerglings. Now, what was I saying? The tech choices, yes, I'd like to see really at least one of them go the standard Roach play, see what they want to do with that. Both of them have shown decent competency with their setups. Red continuing to get the advantage. The arc is just coming in so handy. Having more Zerglings to start with makes such a big difference. You get to enjoy that numbers advantage to the surface area. They've whittled them down. Just 4 Zerglings left for Red. No reinforcements just yet. A double Spire spotted for Blue. Double Spire. Wanting to commit to the Spire upgrades, not just dabbling. I'd like some mutas, please. No. I want mutas with +1 on top. Thank you. And don't forget the sprinkles. Okay. Kaczynski. We know Kaczynski. He's probably the one in charge of the ice cream machine. That's why it's never working. Red Zerglings continuing their trend of it being way more prolific, a plethora of Zerglings, which means they're going to get quite the advantage in the battles. 2 Bluelings somehow stumble, find their way over to the other base here. Queen's pinned, picked off. Uh-oh. 7 mutas on the way for Blue. It will be able, of course, to shut this down, but I'm not sure it'll be in time to actually save the hatchery. Losing the drones, definitely not in time to save the hatch. The eggs will continue to try. They will pop. Red will get to see them, I assume. Possibly. We're not sure if Red's actually seeing. The Zerglings are seeing. Red has yet to actually select it. There they go. They saw it. Okay. At the very end, the tail end of the battle, only 2 lings left. Mutas are spotted. Spores on the way. Quickly, fastly approaching double-digit numbers of spores at the same time here. Which is a perfectly reasonable and measured response to seeing mutas on the map. Blue not wanting to go for a bit of damage with the mutas, perhaps knowing that they've already kind of been spotted. You use them for the defense. You've lost that surprise factor. Means you might as well just get the map control. Clear the map of the overlords. You saved, of course, some semblance of bases. You lost the 1 hatchery there. Spores galore. We probably are going to want a spine at some point, too, but we'll get there. 5 spores. We've got 5 spores on the 1 base. We built 12 spores in the last moment. The drone count really showing it up, too. You just show up for the defense here. We'll stave off the Zerglings. Red, I feel like, whatever gets them to make more drones. Thank you. Okay, they're starting to make a few more drones. They're getting the Hydralisk Den. If you have to make that many spore crawlers just to feel safe enough to make your drones, I guess go for it. Whatever helps you feel safe. The problem is only spore crawlers isn't going to really cut it, because Blue has shown quite a favoritism towards Zerglings as well. Queen's having a bit of trouble getting surrounded, getting pinned. They have to turn and fight, and that is when prey is at its most deadly. Not deadly enough. 3 queens going down to just this batch of Zerglings. The mutas will be able to get the hatchery. Not even having to fool with one of the spore crawlers. Red in a bit of trouble, having a tough time. The economic disadvantage really catching up with them at this point. The Hydra Den came just too little too late. Perhaps investing a bit too much into spores. You have to consider 12 spores. Not just the 1,200 minerals and change there, but the drones as well. They were down on drones to start with, and then going for that many spores at once. Just kind of pinning themselves into an economic disadvantage. The Hydra count is not going to be strong enough to deal with the mutas. How many mutas? 16 mutas. 1-1 is completed. 2-2, we're putting it on the back burner, apparently. Combat is more important. Well, red might be fine if blue decides to fight both the Hydras and the spores at the same time. Muta count cut in half. In the blink of a overseer's eye, you know, one of the 10 that they have, I would wager. Red, slightly stabilizing, trying to get the hatchery back up and running. The drone count, say, nearly even now. The problem now is the banks. Blue has enjoyed the advantage for so long, they've actually built up over nearly 2,500 gas. It's quite a lot for whatever they feel like spending on this gas theme, but thus far, really just sticking to Zerglings. They seem to quite like it. We'll follow the mutas. Centrifugal hooks on the way. Hydration alert, lads. Make sure you take a drink, take care of yourselves. Now, this is a good combo to set up here, because they've gone for mutas, they're forcing out Hydras. What are Hydras? If you said terrible, yes, but also light. So, we're considering the light tag in this. Banelings, of course, very good, very useful, versus light. Morph from Zergling. Any Zergling can morph to Baneling, as Abathur might say. We're going to need probably more than 4. We're gonna make some more. They've got a decent amount of gas. Yeah. Wow. Okay. 30. That'll do it. That'll cut it. Dropper Lord on the way. What are we gonna get? Drop 4 Hydras? Really? 6, 7 spines on the way. I don't think it's gonna be enough. They know. They know this is coming. The creep tumor is in their favor. They will be able to see all those Banes morphing in. Will the spines be done in time? The Hydra's not paying attention. The Hydra army is leveled, defeated, at the cost of everything. They get 0 mutas for their trouble. The Banes continuing their role of terror into whatever they feel like. Okay, now they're finding stuff. Going for the drones, going for the hatchery. Not quite clearing out enough of the spore crawlers. Mutas will still be able to fly in, pick off the hatch, and that is another hit. Something going against the economy of our very drunk Vavka, I'm assuming. They've got the link count still working in their favor. The problem is everything else, really. Blue deciding to commit. Do a little bit of an attack here with the Zerglings. They're going to have to pull the mutas back, I think. The mutas are going to have to help out with the defense. Yeah. Well, they're showing up, focusing down the Hydras. Hydras not focusing their fire means it is going to end in favor of Blue, who really just had a bit of a snowball effect going on there. They got quite a bit done over those few minutes. Picking off the initial 8 drones just kind of set red back, never really recovered at this point. And then, oh, the Baneling connection, that was beautiful. Perfectly thumbnail material if I've ever seen it. That is not all for today though, folks. On to the next. The second match of the day will be played on the map Tokamak. Here, a blue Terran player in the upper right throwing out the GLHF emoji. It is Reaps. Like Reapers? Reaps? And in the bottom left here, red Protoss probes of Skemk. I've never, ever, I will say, if this is referring to Reapers, I have never in my life ever thought to refer to them as my Reaps. Okay, that is like, I'm just not creative. I'm finding this out as I age, really in a lot of facets. I'm just not that creative. I'm not nearly the creative mind I thought I was. Okay, apparently not. Other people just have these notions, these ideas, and I'm like, how? Like, what happened with your brain chemistry to get you to that point? And I don't really want to replicate it, but I kind of want to understand it. Like, what kind of chemical imbalance is going on there? How do we get from A to B? You know, the kinds of people that you just wake up and it's like, wow, you really did this all by yourself? Like, you came to that conclusion? You picked out your own clothes today? Wow, good job. Yeah. The worker battle ensues, Protoss continuing their reign of terror upon any nearby Terran. SCV cut to half health, just trying to make that command center. We've got ourselves a Reaps expand going on here. Only a few short seconds till he shows up. The probe long gone by this point. Could turn around, do a little bit of damage to the SCV, but not going to do so. Instead, focusing on their build, their side of the map, going for that expansion. We've got a Reaps wall off here to try to cut down on any type of Reapy shenanigans. Speaking of, we have to follow him. Like, this is his chosen unit, okay. We have to see what will they do with it. Thus far, they're not even controlling it, I will say. They just rallied it across. They have selected it. All that work on the Reaper wall off. The Reaper just gets in anyways, gets 3 kills. They know. Not quite what it needed to be to actually stop that. The Adept on the other side, though, will get a bit of revenge damage. What do we got here? 2 kills? Just turns around and fights as I can get one more shot in. A little bit of life permanent damage onto the Adept. The Reaper might actually be able to take them out if those shields don't fully regenerate. Do we have it? Reaps versus Adepts. It's a bit too much. Oh god. That grenade was not timed well for the Shade. The Shade's gonna complete. Hellion shows up though. She's down. The Reaper lives 1 health. Reaps showing off his hero unit of choice. We are riding this train until it burns, I suppose. The Banshees, hyper flight on the way. Everybody's doing this now. We're going for speed Banshees because we get the speed upgrade just a little bit quicker. We're like, yeah, let's do it. But then people, we have to see, because it feels like everybody's not getting Cloak, too. Which then just means your Banshees are zooming into their own demise all the quicker. The Hellion Reaper combo might be just chilling out front. Stalkers ready with the defense. Blink not done just yet. Prism here ready for a bit of follow-up. So this is smelling like a pretty normal Blink Stalker type of attack. They're going to use the Prism to reinforce, probably blink up into the high ground. Banshees are not great versus Stalker, or I will say. If we had Cloak, it'd be different. But just Hyper Flight, I'm not convinced is going to be enough. We're going to need something a bit more heavy hitting. Siege Tank, I think, perfectly fine option. The normal, the standard. We might have 1 tank done by the time the Stalkers get here. Banshee count might be at 3, though. It's going to depend how many Stalkers really get in here. If they're going to be pushing 10, 11 Stalkers, they will have it. 4, what do we got? 4, 8, 9? Okay, we've got 9 Stalkers here. The Blink train up into the base. The siege tank is done, not even caring to siege up at this point. Stalker's laser focused on the Banshee. Why do they hate the Banshee so much? Hyperflight's actually going to kick in and help out. keep the Banshee alive. Ugh. The terrifying blink, the unsieged siege tank attack, or should I say defense. It's unlicensed, unapproved, but highly successful. 6 kills on that tank. And then he goes and stares at the minerals. You know what? You can't even be mad. They were so focused on getting their workers back to mining that they sent everything back to mining. Okay, we can't even be mad. We cannot disapprove of that. Really only losing, what, 1 Banshee? Oh my gosh, that was an amazing hold. Part of it, I'll say, was the Protoss getting a bit laser point focused on those Banshees, trying to pick them off. Perhaps a bit concerned, not wanting to take a whole lot of damage on the other side, but wound up just kind of killing off every Stalker. The Banshee will get repaired. Siege tank is ready to help out again. We're not going for any more, it looks like. No, instead, Fusion Core. Place your bets. Are we gonna see battle cruisers? Option 1. Option 2, Liberator range. Option 3, nothing. Decorative fusion core. What am I looking at? Appums? These guys definitely, I would say, they know what they're doing. High plat, diamond, it would not surprise me. Okay, I'm gonna go with battle cruisers. I think we all know what's coming here. Let's see, the Terran player in the wild, the Starport Terran, has decided to make Hyperflight no-cloak Banshees, which will then set themselves up to lose the Banshees and say, God, Banshees really suck. Why would anybody make these? And then they will revert to their childhood Terran dreams of just making nothing but battle cruisers. So far, they're still making Banshees. Have to admire their dedication. I love your gumption, son. Siege tank helping out with the defense will be blunked right on, but it might end up being a disastrous move for the Protoss. Gets another tank for their troubles, but loses nearly every Stalker. I don't think they expected there to be 2 more siege tanks back there. I cannot really blame them for that. Those other tanks were pretty well hidden, the Terran player having to set up quite defensively, but so far working out in their favor. Red Health Banshee immediately picked off. Banshees find an opportunity here at the 3rd base of the Protoss, start to pick off probes in droves. This is starting to mount. Okay, 1 kill, 9 kills. There we go. We know who was doing all the kill stealing in that combo. They working together though. 10 probes picked off, 13 in total. Reaps really reaping the souls of some poor probes, if probes have souls. We would like to think they do. I would like to think they do. We know they're just automatons, and probably not, but what if they have feelings? Okay. I didn't want to be right, for what it's worth. When I pitched my vote for battle cruisers, I didn't want to be right. If you voted for battle cruisers, good job. You won nothing because we had to cut our funding. We don't have prizes right now. But if you picked something else and you didn't pick battle cruisers, you're wrong, and you should feel bad about that choice. Refineries, the early access refineries there, trying to... Uh-oh. Was that an all-army move? Possibly. Siege tank set up, but now the Protoss player has developed the amazing, intricate technology of angry zealots charging into battle. Bunker picked off. There was a Reaper in that bunker. The Banshee cut down, trying to help out Stalkers. They don't even need to worry about detection because our Terran player has not gone for cloak, blinking onto the battle cruiser. One of them starting to get a bit low. Might have to teleport it away. The Widow Mines get another shot off, picking off a couple Stalkers. Reinforcements coming for the Protoss in heavy Stalker amounts. Battlecruisers starting to get a bit injured, and this is too many Stalkers, I think. random Hellbat. Was it a Hellion that got... Why are we making so many Hellions? Okay, you've seen a lot of Stalkers. Hellions not that... Do not. No. Oh my gosh, you lost both of the cruisers? Because we just... Well, luckily they're both blundering left and right, apparently. The battle cruisers, it picked off before they could really get much of anything done. They could have teleported away, but no, you just had to stay in and try to get that damage done. The Hellbats actually wind up being an amazing choice because the Protoss player's leaning a bit heavy on that Zealot gas pedal. Mech, Terran mech here. Interesting choices. The Protoss player is just kind of outproducing them at this point. Look at the worker count. I haven't paid much attention to the worker count for most of the match, but if it has looked anything like this for the last 5 minutes, then this explains. The Protoss is just going to be able to outproduce. It doesn't matter how much they're really losing at this point. I'd like to see that Prism get a little bit closer to the front line. We do know how to teleport a cruiser in time to actually save its life. We'll get out of their battle in the natural. It just seems to never end. Reinforcements from both sides continuing to stream in. The battlecruiser shows up without getting any repairs. Reaps calls the GG has thrown away too many cruisers, undoubtedly going to be dishonorably discharged from the Starport Academy at this point. Well played, well-earned victory to the Protoss. Enjoyed that economic advantage, I would say, for quite a while. Able to just outproduce. Didn't matter how many units they lost. It was all about how many they had to replace them, which is a fine mantra for this type of match, I suppose. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day.